Phil Simmons handed in his resignation as West Indies senior men's head coach in October last year after the team's embarrassing first-round exit at the T20 World Cup. In December, Cricket West Indies appointed Andre Coley as interim head coach for 2 tours, starting with a test tour of Zimbabwe from January 28 to February 16. The Windies enjoyed a relatively successful 2022 in Test cricket, losing just 2 of the 7 matches played. The 48-year-old Coley joins us now to talk about his and the team's targets for that tour of Southern Africa. Andre Coley, good afternoon. Welcome to the SportsMax Zone, sir.
Good afternoon, man. How are you? Good afternoon to your viewers as well.
Excellent. I'm very good. And you and the family?
All is well, man. I'm very thankful to be able to see another year. That's always good.
Excellent, sir. All right, let's get right to it, Andre. Is it your understanding that when your interim status expires, that you will be in consideration for the role of West Indies men's head coach full time?
Well, we haven't progressed the conversation beyond the interim role, just because of the timing of it. Obviously, with all intention purposes, if it comes to that point, and the opportunity comes up, I suppose it comes down to a decision whether I want to throw my name in the hat or not. But we haven't gone past the interim role.
Right, all right. Just one more question on this, because if I know that the 2 tours, it's not really a long time for you to show at this level what you're capable of. I mean, you've advertised your credentials at other levels leading up to here, so we know what you're about. But a reasonable judge would say, well, that's not enough time. But if this goes reasonably well, is this something that you think you'd want to pursue seriously, to say, well, give me a crack at the job full time for me to help change the fortunes of Windies cricket?
Well, to be honest, to first act in the interim role, obviously is a huge honour to lead a senior West Indies team. And it's really about service. And, the CWI needed me at this time, and I accepted it after some thought. But that I would have to reserve that judgment after having had the opportunity over the next 2.5 months to lead a diverse group of support staff and players, and then actually see if that lines up with where I want to go.
When you look, when we look at the names, Andre, of the men who've coached the Cedar West Indies men's team since the year 2000, they're coaches of varying degrees of experience, very successful coaches, good guys in general. But West Indies cricket, it's like a machine that eats the reputation of good coaches who take up the job. Have you ever in your mind considered if the Cedar West Indies men's team is some way uncoachable?
No, never. I think every opportunity or every coaching opportunity brings a different challenge, and I've never been someone to back away from a challenge. Generally, I'd probably look to seek them out, or if offered, generally I would look to take it on. So it is really around just assessing and working with the staff, working with the players, and coming up with what we believe is the right strategy. And I think in this case, communication is going to be very crucial. So just working out what that communication strategy is going to be, because everything is happening very quickly. We travel within less than 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So no, that thought has never crossed my mind. It is an exciting challenge, but it's one I'm looking forward to.
And Andre, you spoke about the support staff, and of course every person that's in charge always needs a good team behind him or her. Can you tell us a bit about your team that you'll be working with?
Well, we're still in negotiations with to finalize the entire backroom staff. So I don't believe that I want to discuss much around that until everything is sorted, and that should be done basically by the end of the week.
Okay,
we should be able to
No problem at all. Also, a comment on the group of players that you will be tasked of working with, because, I know you're a person who believes in, the youngsters and pushing the youngsters forward, the future of West Indies cricket. So how do you feel about the crop of players that you have to work with?
Players, players, there are different players in the squad at varying degrees of skill and experience. So I'm really looking forward to working with the squad, whatever that squad looks like. And I think the key is really to, as soon as possible, if we're able to work out the plans that we have, and then how everyone dovetails into that plan, and give everyone the confidence to be able to express themselves. I think the background over the last few months, has been interesting. There's a lot of rhetoric around a lot of different things. So it's really up to us. This is an opportunity for us. About 10 games that we have over the next 2.5 months to really give a good account of ourselves. So I'm looking forward to working with the squad, whatever it looks like.
Right, and you have two big upcoming assignments where you will be judged, of course, because you know how the cricket-loving public is. The first assignment, Zimbabwe. What will be your approach, just heading into this first assignment with the title interim head coach?
Well, obviously we have a warm-up game ahead of the 2 test matches in Zimbabwe. We want to make sure that we do our homework, and then just work out what the squad. What's going to give us the best chance of winning? What combinations is going to help us? I think it's very important that we think about winning on both tours. So not just turning up to participate and just fulfill fixtures, but really going to win each series. May not always happen, but that obviously has to be the aim. And the key and the plan is to really take it one match at a time. And then depending on the outcome of each game, then we just revisit, review, we plan again, and then just keep that loop going.
Yeah, Andre, in tracking your experience in the past with the West Indies senior setup, you've been on the senior coaching staff before. Your interim head coach position now is a position that you hadn't held before. But you were on the coaching panel, weren't you, with Phil Simmons in his first stint as the coach? And can you remind us if you had been on the coaching staff of any of the other coaches in the past 10 years or so? Because I seem to remember you being a part of West Indies senior team coaching setups before, outside of Simmons.
My first stint with the team would have been with Otis.
Otis, yes.
I think that was somewhere back in 2012, I believe. I think when Australia toured here for a white ball series. I think that was 2012. So it would have been Otis, I believe Stuart Law. For a brief while, I think one series or 2 series, then Phil. I believe that's it.
Yeah. Can you talk to us then quickly, because there is constant discussion about employing a foreign coach as opposed to a Caribbean coach. A tough question I'm going to put to you now, but can you, since you said you were a part of a coaching staff with Stuart Law, who is the former Australian international player, is there a difference in how players respond to a foreign coach as opposed to how they interact with a domestic coach, a coach from the Caribbean?
Well, not so much, from my experience, not so much about where you come from. It would be more around style. So each coach has their own coaching style, their own philosophies, the way they communicate. And that is what I believe, and that's what my experience has taught me in terms of how players respond or what they respond to. So you go down the list of coaches that have coached West Indies in the last 10, 12 years. They've brought varying styles. You may have one or two that might have been similar. And then, you know, what I'd want to add is that even though a coach may have a dominant style, most of the experienced coaches generally have the agility to move between different styles depending on the players that they're working with and so on. So it's really around styles and communication strategies, I believe.
Yeah. All right, we're going to take a break, Andre. We still have a lot to talk to you about. Some very critical tours coming up for this West Indies team with yourself as the head coach. We're going to break. When we come back, we rejoin our discussion with Andre Coley, interim head coach of the West Indies team.
Thank you for watching SportsMax on YouTube. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and click the notification bell to stay informed.